Hey there, it's Joy Foster, founder of TechPixies and the host of the Sparkle and Thrive podcast. And I have a super special podcast just for you. I wanted to put together a new way of talking about the mistakes that I see women make when it comes to social media. And one of the things that breaks my heart more than anything else is watching women quit before they even get started, like really get started on social media. Women make a lot of mistakes that are completely avoidable when it comes to social media. And I see them step away from social media thinking that they're a failure when it's completely unnecessary. So let me just start by setting the scene. I know what it's like to have 0 followers on my social media accounts. I know what it's like to have nobody on my email list. I know what it's like to have 0 sales. I know what that feels like, and I know how daunting it is and how scary it is to start something from scratch. But I also know that it's almost impossible to build a business in modern day 2023, 2024, 2025. It's almost impossible to build a business without a social media presence, without an email list, and without an offer. Like, these are 3 essential things that we need to have in order to have a business in the first place. So where I see women making the biggest mistakes is that before they even get to the place where they've got enough traction to make an offer, they quit. So what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about 3 key things. One is the constant hamster wheel of content. So if you're listening to this or you're watching this and you're making this mistake, this is what it looks like. You're creating content on a daily basis, maybe even more than once a day, because that's what you see all of the influencers doing. They're creating content constantly. Constant content, right? You're creating content all the time. And what that's doing is it's exhausting you because it's impossible to create content every single day. I calculated earlier today that if I had created a piece of content every day for the last 8 years for my business, I would have created 2,920 pieces of content. I would be so buried in my own content that I would be dead, right? So the first thing I want you to know is being on the constant content hamster wheel is not going to serve you. It's going to burn you out so badly that you're just going to disappear from social media. And the idea that you had that you were going to launch using social media will die with you, right? Very, very, very important to understand that the content hamster wheel will wear you out and you will just disappear from social media because it's too hard. So I want to just talk about how we stop doing the constant content hamster wheel and we make systems with social media that are much more consistent, much more reliable, and take a lot less energy and effort. That's what we teach at TechPixies, all right? So the second mistake I see people make is when they fall off the content hamster wheel and they say, I'm going to just take a little break. They say they might be for one day, and then one day becomes 1 week, and then 1 week becomes a month, and then a month becomes a year. And all of a sudden, they're not posting at all. So they go from the constant content hamster wheel where they're posting all the time to they just ghost everybody and they disappear and they don't post at all. And that's also not going to build your business, right? Posting all the time is not going to get you anywhere, and never posting at all is never going to get you anywhere, right? So if you don't put yourself out there, you don't put your content out there at all, no one's going to know who you are or what you do. So there's a fine balance between posting all the time and not posting at all. And finding that balance is exactly where we meet you in the crossroads at TechPixies. The third thing that I see happening, the mistake that I see people making, is they still think that the sales come from social media. If you've been in my world at all, you will know that I say the sales are in the mails. Your sales are not on social media. Social media is about connecting with your existing audience. It's about connecting with people you've never met for the first time. But your long-term relationship with people is going to be from email and from conversations and from connection that goes beyond social media. Now, you can't meet people that you've never met before without connecting with them on social media. It's almost impossible. I mean, unless you want to go to a networking event, which is an amazing tool for building your business, being out there, meeting people, etc. But if you want to work with people that are all over the world or all over the country, you've got to go beyond the local networking groups and you've got to connect with people online. So the mistake people make when it comes to social media is they give up because they're not seeing sales. And part of the reason they give up because they're not seeing sales is that they don't understand how conversion rates work. So I want to just take a minute and explain how conversion rates work, how sales actually work, because this is a piece that no one really understands. And I really didn't understand it when I started. And hopefully I can explain this to you on this podcast so that you don't make the mistake I made. So sales are a numbers game, right? So if you want to make sales, there's a certain number of people you need to reach. There's a certain number of conversations you need to have. And there's a certain percentage of people you have conversation with that they're going to say yes. And when you understand that sales is a numbers game, then it really matters the number of people you're in contact with, either via social media or on email. But I'm going to prove to you once and for all with this podcast that the sales are more likely to come from email than they are from social media. So let me explain why. This comes right down to visibility. So if you have a social media account with 100 followers, your content is going to be seen organically, which means people who follow you will see it by about 3 to 10% of your following. So what does that mean? It means if you have 100 followers, 3 to 10 people will see your content. 3 to 10 people will see your content. And most people, when they're doing social media, they don't have a growth strategy. They have a posting strategy. So they're posting. They're on the constant content hamster wheel. They're posting. And they never put a growth plan in place. And so the same 3 to 10 people are seeing that content over and over and over again. And they wonder why it's not working. You must have a growth strategy in your social media strategy, not just a posting strategy. Okay. But let's start with the basic numbers. You have 100 followers on social media, 3 to 10 people will see your content on a regular basis. And it's going to stay that way unless you have a growth strategy. All right. Now let's compare that side by side to email marketing. Emails get seen 20 to 60% of the time, which means if you have 100 people on your mailing list, 20 to 60 people will see your content. This is significant. Same number of people in both scenarios, 100 people on your social media following, 100 people on your mailing list. 3 to 10 people see your content on social media, 20 to 60 people see your content on email. Which method is going to work better for building the know, like, and trust factor, for connecting more deeply with your potential client? Email, because you're getting exposure to so many more people, right? 20 to 60 people out of 100 versus 3 to 10 out of 100. So email is going to win the numbers game every day. Now, where this matters when it comes to sales is that when you have a mailing list, you can reach out directly to the people that are opening your emails, and you can connect with them, and you can get on a call with them, and you can say, I'd love to know more about why you joined my mailing list. I'd love to know more about your business or your, who you are. And you can get to know them. You can have a real conversation with a real person on Zoom, on the telephone, in real life. When we started TechPixies, we didn't do any paid advertising for the first 4 years. So 2015, 16, 17, and 18, every time someone joined our mailing list, we sent them a personal message. We connected with them. We got on a phone call with them, and we asked them, tell me your story. What's going on in your life? Why did you join our mailing list? And we would listen to what they had to say. And if we felt like we were a good fit for what was going on in their life, we would say to them, hey, look, we have a really great program that would help you with that. Are you interested in finding out more? And 50% of the time they would say yes. And then they would end up becoming a student of ours, and they would benefit from that. That's how we started out. We didn't do any paid advertising early on. Now, what I know about paid advertising now, and that's how we grow our business now, I love it. I know so much more about it and how it works. And it's been a love-hate relationship to get to that place. But now I wouldn't build my business without it. But in the early days when I was starting, that sort of one-to-many sales, that sort of passive income sales, that was not how I built the business. I built the business by contacting every single person on my mailing list and having deep and meaningful conversations with them. Now, you can do this in social media as well. You can have direct messages to the people that you're connected with. You can get to know them, what's going on in their life, and you can connect in that way. But the difference is the exposure to the initial content that you're putting out there is going to be much higher on email than it is going to be on social media. So when you make the approach to them to say, hey, I noticed you're on our mailing list and I'd love to know more about you. Can you jump on a call with me? They're more likely to say yes because they're getting your content on a regular basis. They're opening your content on a regular basis. They're looking at your content on a regular basis through your emails. So that same exposure isn't as much on social media. So you're not going to have as much, you're the people who are following on social media, they're not going to have seen as much of your content. They might have seen some of it. They might have not seen some of it. It's not as easy to track what they've seen, what they've not seen, and to be able to connect with them on a deeper level. So that's the first thing to understand with social media and email is your visibility is so much higher on email. Now, the catch-22 is how do you get people on an email list in the first place? You can't buy mailing lists today. It's not ethical to buy a mailing list. So you have to entice people onto your mailing list. You have to entice people onto your email. And you can do that in many, many different ways. We have guides that we give for free. I've had students who were tutors who gave guides to parents on how to tutor their, how to help their children with a particular subject. We've had students give away webinars or workshops to get people on their mailing list. There's lots of different ways, a guide, a checklist, a workshop, a webinar. There's lots of different ways to get people onto your mailing list. What happens next is what matters, how you nurture that mailing list. So the key here is you're creating one piece of really good weekly content. You're emailing that really great piece of weekly content out. So you don't have to create 7 pieces of content. You just create one piece of content. That piece of content that you put on social media, you then share into your email that goes out to people. They see it. That then triggers people to click on it if they're interested in it and go and engage with it on your social media. So this is what I call the infinity loop, right? So you create content, you put it on social media once a week, and then you email that content out to the people on your mailing list. And you want to do that relatively quickly because the algorithm picks up on it that more people are seeing your stuff, and then it pushes it out to more people. But the trick is your mailing list. That's where the power is, not your social media. By emailing your content out to your mailing list, they then click through. That's what drives the algorithm to work in your favor, not the other way around. So if you want to get social media working for you, you have to leverage social media to get people off of social media into emails so that you can have that deeper relationship with them. And like I said, you can use direct messages. That's entirely possible. The problem with direct messages is that's just it's a back and forth conversation. So if you stop having that back and forth conversation, your content's still only going to get seen as much as your content gets shown to them on social media. Whereas you can have a back and forth conversation with someone via email, and you can still continue to send your weekly email, and the likelihood of them seeing it is much higher. So that's a really key point here when we're talking about social media marketing versus email marketing. You use social media marketing to get people on your mailing list. You use email marketing to continue the relationship with them. So I see people, they give up on social media before it's ever even working for them, because they don't understand this concept of the infinite loop, right? The cycle between your social media content, your email list, and how you continue to serve the loop and keep everybody happy. So I don't want you to make these mistakes. I also have spent 8 years of my life. I know it sounds like a lot of years. It is. I spent 8 years of my life coaching nearly 900 women through our social media management certification. And I've come up with a system over those 8 years, which is a proven, tried, and tested system. And for the first time ever, we are going to release a self-study version of that system that I have worked on very closely with 900 women over an 8-year period. So what does this look like? What's the 3-step proven process? Well, step number 1 is confidence. I can teach you everything I know about social media, but if you don't have the confidence to use it, you won't. So we have to get you over the first hurdle, which is related to your confidence with social media and understanding the big 30,000 foot view of how it works, what the opportunity is there, why you want to do that. So we give you confidence in understanding how it works, why you want to use it, and what becomes possible for you if you learn to leverage it properly in step 1. That's confidence. In step 2, we're moving from confidence to knowledge. So now that you know what's possible for you and you have a much clearer picture about what networks are going to work for you, what kind of content's going to work for you, then we arm you with the knowledge of all the different networks that are out there and the nuances of those networks. And then you decide, based on the knowledge of those networks, which networks you want to leverage for your business idea or for your clients, right? Based on the businesses that they run, right? Some of you who are listening to this are doing social media for other people, but you're not really sure what you're doing because you've never got a qualification in it, right? This is an industry that's very rogue. You can do it without a qualification, but that doesn't mean you're doing it well, right? It doesn't mean that there's not the ability to go and get certification to back up what you're doing. So the second part of this is knowledge, arming yourself with knowledge, really understanding the ins and outs of the different networks and making sure that you are really using the network that's right for your potential client, or again, the clients of your clients if you're a social media manager, for example, or an EA or a VA. A lot of VAs and EAs now offer social media services, but again, they don't have training in it. So now that you've got the knowledge and the confidence combined, you're ready for the third step, which is results. And we want you to get results. We want you to be able to, with your confidence and your knowledge, put together a 30-day, 28-day, 30-day campaign. And you're going to execute that campaign and you're going to report on that campaign. We're going to give you all the tools to analyze, how did my campaign go? We're going to give you all the tools to set it up. We're going to give you all the tools to work out what's important and not important to do in your campaign in order to get the results that you want to get. We've never, ever, ever released that part of our training to any of our non-coach students, but we now feel that we've got a system that works so well, we can release it as a self-study program. So 3-step process. First one is confidence. The second one is knowledge. And the third one is results. Once you've got the confidence, you combine that with knowledge, you can put together a campaign, execute that campaign, and report on that campaign and see the progress that you've made. Now, this is, again, something we've never, ever released. And it's something we've only ever released to our coaching students. So this is a program that we have spent years and years and years putting together, testing, trying it with real people to see if it works. And we know it works now to the extent that we're ready to release it as a self-study program. So I want to invite you to consider being one of our very first self-study students so you can gain the confidence and the knowledge that you need in order to get the results that you want on social media. So I'm very excited about this for 2 reasons. One, we did do a trial run of it. So even though we have not publicly released a self-study version of our program, we have quietly released a self-study version of our program. And we've had some really great results. And I want to share those results because I think that'll help you feel a little bit more confident in what this self-study program might do for you. I also want to tell you that we have a super special price for it. And to find out about that price, it's a fraction of the cost of our coaching program. And I know a lot of people have been waiting for this. It's something that they can do with TechPixies that's not going to cost them an arm and a leg, but that's going to get them started on social media at a really, really affordable rate. So this is going to be available for a very limited time. And if you want to find out what the latest offer is, you got to go to techpixies.com/SMF. And that stands for Social Media Foundations, which is the name of the program that we're finally releasing out into the world for the first time. So I have some notes here. I didn't want to forget anything important. We have 2 stories from our trial round of students who went through the self-study program. So like I said, I've gone through the coaching program with nearly 900 women. And we wanted to see if this would work if we released a self-study version. So we did a little pilot of it, and we found that it did work. So here's Amanda's story, all right? She was and is a full-time qualified accountant, and she wanted to start a side hustle. She decided that she would do our self-study program, the Social Media Foundations program. And once she had the confidence to take off her invisibility cloak and go online, she applied her knowledge to Instagram and TikTok. So on Instagram, she posted her art, and on TikTok, she posted about her cat. These 2 things gave her the confidence to understand how the network worked without even having to put herself out there. And she loved that she could dip in and out of the training and experiment on her own in her own time. She's even applied the bonus life coaching toolkit to her everyday job, and she's now doing things completely differently as a result. So one of the things I learned really early on with social media is women have a lot of fear when it comes to using social media, and that will stop them from using it. And so we developed a life coaching toolkit where we talk about imposter syndrome and compare and despair and dealing with negative feedback and trolls and all the things that come up when it comes to social media. And what we realized is that not only helps with social media, but it helps in all aspects of your life. And that was something that Amanda really valued. So Amanda's now set to build her side hustle alongside her certified accounting job so that she can ease into the next phase of her career with a lot more confidence in her ability to market herself outside of the current business role that she's in. The other person whose story I want to share is Esme's. And Esme was is a freelance graphic designer, and she recently inherited a family farm. Now, between running the family farm and her freelance graphic design business, she did not have time to do a fully coached program in social media. But she wanted to become confident with social media nonetheless, because she knew it would be useful for her existing clients from a graphic design perspective, but also as she decides what she's going to do at the farm, a way to market the farm. She absolutely loved the how-to videos. We have how-to videos on everything, and she loved implementing things in her own time. One of her favorite parts of the program was being in the community. So all of our trial self-study students also got the opportunity to be in the TechPixies Community Hub, which is a private Facebook group for our students who've gone through our programs. And that's where she could ask questions, any questions that came up. And recently, she took her invisibility cloak firmly off when she found out that a family graveyard in her area was going to be developed. And she used social media in her local area to raise awareness about this. And there were some incredible results and some incredible things that happened because she was able to confidently go online and talk about something that mattered to her. Now, the side benefit of that is that it also ended up connecting her to some potential clients, which she never would have expected to come off the back of a campaign to save a graveyard. So I'm super proud of Amanda. I'm super proud of Esme for the way that they use the Social Media Foundation's program to give them more confidence, more knowledge, and more importantly, the results that they need to now say, okay, this I can use to build my side hustle, my new business. They've got the skills to do that. And they did it in their own time, around their own very busy schedules. As you can imagine, running a farm, being a graphic designer, being a full-time certified accountant, qualified accountant. These ladies are busy ladies, but they were able to, using our system and our guidance, follow the steps and get through all three steps: the confidence step, the knowledge step, and the results step. And so I just want to say to you that the guarantee we have for you is that if you're going to go through this program and you do it step by step as we outline, you too will have the confidence and the knowledge to get the results that you want to get on social media. And you won't quit before you reach your full potential. And that's what matters to me. I want to see women feel confident about social media. I want to see them be empowered with knowledge so that they can get results. I am tired of seeing people be tired. I'm tired of people burning out and not actually fulfilling their true potential when it comes to social media. So if you would like a completely unique method for how to use social media and how to do it on a long-term basis rather than a short-term basis, if you'd like to get off the constant content hamster wheel and you'd like to stop posting and ghosting and you'd like to get everything ready to actually springboard you into making sales, then our Social Media Foundations course is absolutely perfect for you. And like I said, for a limited time, we have a very special offer, and you can check it out at techpixies.com/SMF, which stands for Social Media Foundations. techpixies.com/SMF. If you have any questions whatsoever about this program, you want to know more details about it, what's included in it, if you want to speak to somebody about it, simply email support@techpixies.com We'll answer any of the questions that you have. And hopefully this podcast has given you an insight into why social media might not be working for you, and also why it's important to have a strategy that leaves you with energy and vibrancy and the ability to create 52 posts per year versus 365 posts per year. That helps you to stay connected to the real reason why you wanted to use social media in the first place. And we're going to help you discover that. We're going to help you navigate that. And we're going to help you get the results that you want. But it all starts with the social media foundations. So shoot us a line, shoot us an email, support@techpixies.com. If you have any questions, go check it out. techpixies.com/SMF, like social media foundations. And we hope to see you on the other side. We have a no question left behind rule at TechPixies, which means once you're in one of our programs and you're in our community, we will answer every question that comes our way. We want you to know that you are fully supported on this journey. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Share this with someone you know who is ready and willing to get stuck in on learning social media and wants an easy, simple, fun, guided way to do it with a proven roadmap and a proven system that's been tried and tested over 8 years with over 900 students. And let them know this is an amazing opportunity that we've never had out on the market before. And we don't know how long it's going to be out on the market, but I can tell you it's a great opportunity. If you've been waiting for a social media course that's going to have an impact on the rest of your life, this is the moment you've been waiting for.